Hi, it's Vicky here from Off the Hook for You, and today I'm going to show you how to make the little fairy or little flower hat that I designed for the Big Knit Age UK Innocent Drinks, the little hats that go on the bottles. So we're going to start by making a magic ring. So I make a magic ring by going around my finger twice. I'm going to go under the 2 loops, grab the 1, pull it back through. I'm now going to chain 2. This does not count as a stitch for this hat. Now what I'm going to do is I make my magic ring, I pull my tail forward and my yarn towards the back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 6 half double crochet in the ring. Now I'm using US terms, this is a half treble if you are UK, but what it actually means is yarn over, through the holes, grab 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And I'm going to do 5 more of those, so I end up with 6 in total. It's 2, 3, oh, missed it. 4, 5, 6. I'm now going to pull my ring closed, pulling my tail, and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my chain 2, which is just here. Yarn over, pull through, back again. Now what I'm going to do is count chain 3, and this is because I'm now going on to UK trebles, US doubles. So chain 3, and this actually counts as a stitch from this point forwards. And I'm going to front post double crochet around the first stitch. So rather than going into the top where I'd normally go, which if you'd look, you'd normally go under the 2 loops at the top here. See if I can zoom in quickly for us. So you'd normally go under the 2 loops here on this stitch. What I'm now going to do is go around the front post. So I'm actually going around this bit here of the stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, and then because I'm doing doubles or trebles now, I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm now going to do 1 DC in the top of the next stitch along. So this is in the normal place, so under the 2 loops here. Is 1 DC, and then I'm going to go around, and you have to do it in this order, otherwise you block the stitch. So front post around, and I'm going to DC on top, so in here, 2 on top, and then I'm going to DC around. DC on top, so this is actually going to give us 12 stitches at the end of this round rather than the 6 that we started with, because we're effectively doing 2 stitches in each stitch. One is around the stitch, one is on top of the stitch. In the top there, and then around the stitch there. In top of the stitch, oh, missed it, top of the stitch, around the stitch there. Stitch to the top of the chain 3, which was our first stitch, and we're now going to chain 3 up. Get myself some more yarn. Now what we're going to do is we're going to DC in the bottom of the same stitch. This is so we end up with 3 stitches. So we're going to DC in the bottom of the stitch. Chain 3 counts as our first stitch. DC in the top of the stitch. And then front post around the one that we've already done the front post at. So if you look, it's starting to stick up a bit. The front posts are a bit more raised than the others, so it's easy to see which stitch you're going to do. So you're going to front post around that one. And then we're going to do 2 DC in the top of the next one. So this is going under the 2 loops at the top as normal. 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to front post around the next stitch. 2 DC in the top of the next one. If you pull your stitch over, it makes it easier. You can see where you need to go. And here, 1, 2, followed by a front post around the next one, which is here. 2 DC in the top of the next one. If you look again, I'm moving the stitches over so I can see where I need to go. 2 DC and front post around the next one. 2 DC in the top of the next one. This will end us up with 18 stitches on this one. 6 front post double crochets made around the front post double crochets of the last round, and 12 double crochets made in the top of the stitch, top of the double crochets from the last round, and a front post around the next one. And then what we're going to do is slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. So here we go, we're starting to get a little hat. If you look, we're starting to get the ridges on there to make our little hat. So rounds 4 and 5 are exactly the same as round 3 was. So chain 3, 3, but now we're just going to do 1 DC in the top of each stitch. So 1 DC in this one, 1 DC in the next one. That was done in the base of the stitch from the previous round. And then we're going to front post around the next one. We're going to do 1 DC in the top of the next stitch, 1 DC in the top of the next stitch, and we're going to front post around the next one. 1 DC in the top of the next one, 1 DC, front post around the front of the next one. 1 DC in the top of the next one, 1 DC in the top of the next stitch. So when I'm saying DC, it's a UK treble. And then we're going to front post around the next stitch. So it works out to be 2 DC, 1 front post double crochet, or 2 treble, 1 front, oh, I can't remember what it's called in English, RTRF is how you actually do the, is how you do the writing of it. I can't remember what it stands for. Raised front treble. And then we've got the last one here, we've got a front post around this one. And we're going to do another row exactly the same, another round exactly the same as that. So I'm going to slip stitch to join to the top of my chain 3. There. I'm going to chain 3 up. I'm going to DC in the next one along, and then I'm going to front post around the next one. So 1 DC in each of the next 2. 1, 2, and front post around the next one. 1, 2, and front post around the next one. Same again. 1, 2, and front post around the next one. Need some more yarn. Right, front post around the next one. So now I'm on a 1, 2, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and front post around the next one. So that actually gives me my basic hat, but it doesn't give me the curly bits at the bottom. So if you look, it's all flat. If I turn it out the other way, you can see you've got the ridges going down, but the bottom's completely flat. So now we need to do the ridges around the bottom. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 2. I'm going to half double crochet in the next one. I'm going to double crochet in the next one. I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to picot, which means the chain 3, and then you slip stitch into the bottom of the chain 3 just to join it together. I'm now going to DC in the same stitch. So if you look, we've suddenly gone up, and then I'm going to half double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet in the next stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the next stitch. Slip stitch to the next one. Then I'm going to start again. So I'm going to half double crochet. I'm going to double crochet through 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, picot, which means I slip stitch back into the bottom of the chain 3. I'm going to double crochet into the same stitch. I'm going to half double crochet into the next stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch into the next one. I'm going to repeat it again. So I'm going to half double crochet, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, picot, so I'm coming back into here, slip stitching, I'm going to double crochet into the same stitch, and then half double crochet into the next one. Slip stitch across, and again half double crochet, double crochet, chain 3, picot, you join it to get a pointy bit, double crochet in the same stitch, need more yarn, and half double crochet in the next one. Slip stitch over, and this should be our last one. So we're going to half double crochet, we're going to double crochet, we're going to chain 3, oh, we are 1, 2, 3, we're going to slip stitch to join, double crochet in the same stitch, and we're going to half double crochet to finish. And actually I'm going to slip stitch into where my chain 2 is coming from. You probably find I shouldn't have half double crocheted at the beginning, but that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is fasten off. Again, everyone fastens off slightly differently. Turn it inside out, and that now gives you a little fairy hat as such. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the stalk. Can I just move that one out of the way? Right, so here we go. It's time to make the stalk now. So I've got green yarn here, and we're just going to make the little bit at the top here to make the stalk. So you're going to make a slip knot. Everyone does it differently. I do a backwards number 6, through the middle, grab the yarn, come back through. That now gives me my slip knot. And I'm going to chain 6. Let me just get some more yarn. So under and through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what I'm going to do is working back from my hooks. I'm going to miss the first one because you can't get into this one anyway. If I show you, you can't get into that one anyway. It's too close to where you're working. So in the next one, we're going to do a US single crochet or a UK double crochet. And we're going to do one of those in each chain, working all the way back along. It's just literally to give us a bit of green colour to go onto it. Hold on, there's the stitch there. One in there, one in there, one in the last one. And then in order to make it, if you look, it's folded back on itself, and one for crocheting rather than sewing. So what I'm now going to do is fold it over on itself and go through the back loop. So I'm going to go through this one here and this one here and slip stitch it. So it will sew itself together, but actually it's crochet. So it's slip stitch those two together. Slip stitch those two together, and the next one, the last one actually, there, end off, get the yarn, fasten it off. Right, so here we go. I'm back where I was just a second ago. I'm just going to thread my needle. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down the middle of the stalk. This is because I tend to cheat on things like this if I absolutely can do. My little hat's here. What I will do is actually sew where my magic ring starts. I'm going to sew that together first and sew my end in there. If I zoom out again, there we go. You'll be able to see what I'm up to a bit better, hopefully. So, as with all crochet, weave in your ends, otherwise it comes undone. You learn the hard way normally. So, weave in your ends. That one can go because it's sewed in now. I will do the purple one here. This is down the bottom where I've just done the fairy bottom. Cut that one off. And then this is where I'm going to cheat. So I'm going to turn it inside out so I've got the grooves the right way around. And then what I'm going to do now is, because both ends of the stalk, now because I've sewn one down the middle, I'm now going to go through the top here. And if you look, that's where your magic ring was, and that's where your stitches start. I'm going to go through exactly where one of the stitches is so it can't move with one. I'm then going to thread my needle, go through it with the other one. And then what I'm going to do is tie them in a knot at the bottom. and cut them off not too short. But it will save sewing in 2 more ends. As I say to everyone, I'm a crocheter, not a sewer. So if I cut those off, and then we have a dinky little fairy hat in about 12 minutes. So there you go. Enjoy.